Okay, hey, we're live, and I'm just glad to be alive at this point. Glad to be awake. Glad not to be like up to my neck in rainwater because I'm in Atlanta. And in case you guys didn't know, if there's anybody out there, um, yeah, we just had hurricane slash tropical storm Helene, Helen with an E, roll through, and it, boy, did she roll through. Anyway, I'm just glad that we got power. I'm glad we have internet, and I'm glad it's Friday so we can talk about stuff going on in the small business world with the small business crew. And I always like to bring in small biz trends, Leland McFarland, first to say hello. Hey, Leland.
Hello, good to see that you came out of the storm unscathed.
Well, so far, the day is still young, so I never know. There is a lot of rain and weight on these trees, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I'm just glad to be here, and I'm also glad to bring to the show even a Taylor.
Hi, everyone. Great to see you, Brent. Was thinking about you and all our friends in Atlanta and Florida. Hope everyone's doing okay.
That's right, as we do have some really good friends in Florida, along with Georgia, of course. And speaking of, what was I getting ready to say? Speaking of good friends in Georgia, that just doesn't sound right coming from me. Anyway, it is the cold one. It is the bold one. Luckily, it is the dry one. John Colder Rice Lawson.
Yay! We made it through.
Man, I'm
It's
telling
like
you,
a
it was
song.
touching.
You made it through the rain. It's a Barry Manilow song, I think, isn't it?
Is that looks like we made it or something like that?
There's that one too. That's a totally different song.
Yeah, well, we're all full of songs here today, folks. We're just glad to be here. I know I am. Anyway, so we didn't even think we're going to be doing this show today. So this is going to be a bit of an impromptu one, I think. Let me do this. Why don't I just throw it out to any of you guys? Is there anything that you're really burning to talk about? I've got something in, just in the, if we need something, but is there anything that's really catching your attention, burning that you need to talk about? Wow, I've never heard this. I never heard this group quiet before, so that's kind of interesting.
Not burning. No.
Not burn. Well, wait a minute. Didn't you bring up something last week that we didn't really touch on the Forbes pay for play thing?
I don't. You know what? We didn't talk on that, but it's interesting, man.
What? Okay, tell us about this Forbes pay for play thing.
Well, basically, if you do a search like on how to get rid of roaches, or anything.
What? Wait a minute. Let me just stop you. You could have said anything.
What's in the story?
Oh, okay.
That was in the actual story.
You were stuck on roaches for some reason.
It's like all of a sudden Forbes is like how to train your dog, how to get rid of roaches, how to keep apples from turning brown. You put this in, and all of a sudden these stories, from Forbes are ranking number one on these informational stories. And it's like, what the heck is going on? And basically that Forbes has a division inside of, their rankings, and it's called like the Forbes Council. And I remember when they made the Forbes Council a few years ago where they were letting people, it was like a pay for play kind of platform where you could put your story up and pay to be part of the Forbes Council, and it would get, some visibility with the Forbes naming on it. But basically, I guess they sold out that to another organization that is doing SEO heavy stuff using the Forbes branding, and now everything comes up with Forbes, which I'm sure Leland can talk about.
So is it really a legitimate, not legitimate, but it basically is pay for play?
It's basically advertising for play, for real. They're trying to get keyword traffic. There it is. It's an SEO company that's doing a lot of affiliate marketing with the traffic. Crazy money.
It is very interesting to see just how, and I've been tracking keywords for small business trends, but I also check out a lot of my competition um, to see where, like, the SBA even, Fit Small Biz, a few other, notable small business organizations. I keep an eye on them, and you can see a trend line for everyone, and they just kind of just trail off. And then you see Forbes kind of go up at the same time, and it's very frustrating that essentially a lot of traffic is funneling into Forbes, and they're getting a lot of the search traffic. Now, I mean, they could have some really good SEO, but I do think that something else is going on there, because along with Forbes, you have Reddit. Reddit is just blown up in Google. Anytime that you search for anything, you see a Reddit post. And that's the one that really gets me, because Google has really, really, really pushed this eat, expertise, experience, authority, trust. And in order for us, sites that are talking about subjects, we need to have expertise, authority, trust, experience with the products that we're doing, that we're reviewing. But Reddit doesn't. You could be some anonymous, know nothing user, just fresh account, and make this opinion post number one. And then I've got to fight against that. And it doesn't seem like there's a legitimate way for me, or any kind of way for me to fight against something that really I shouldn't have to fight against.
Because you've got expertise, authority, and trust built in for years as SPT, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense, like you said, that any old somebody could make a post on Reddit and suddenly get number one looks from Google.
Knocks me right out of the rankings.
Wow.
Well, speaking of dish dirt rankings and SEO, this is kind of old news, because I think it's a couple months old, that there has been chatter about all the Google algorithm insider documents being leaked a couple months ago. And all the SEO folks are just kind of sitting there going, Google lies, because, they say things are important or not important, when indeed we know that they are. And all I'm going to say about this, and I want to hear what Leland has to say about it, actually. When I first started blogging back in 2006, there were like some basic rules, right? Right for the reader. And this is when there was all kinds of shenanigans going on in the world of search, but you'd never go wrong to write for the reader. And then that's what's going to give you that EEAT. Backlinks are important. Sticking close to your knitting and your topic and your subject, that's important. That's always been important. And apparently people have been saying, no, that's not important. But now this document is out. And what do you have to say about that, Leland?
Well, I've actually seen a little bit of like some people talking in kind of a tinfoil hat that Google did it on purpose, whether it was like they leaked it on purpose to kind of divert your attention away. I have gone over the document, a lot of analysis and stuff like that on it, and yeah, they do lie. They sit there and say this is important when it's not. And I could see two ways coming out of that. It's like, well, maybe one. If you tell people how exactly it works, you tell them everything 100%, you're going to find that group of people who look at that and go, all right, let me break that. And so if they're lying, if they're saying, well, this is important, and to an average reader, it is actually important. Maybe not for the algorithm, but for an average reader, it is still important. Then people are going to try to hack it in that way. And then it, doesn't work the way that it should. And so they tried to keep it as black box as possible to keep out those black hat SEO people as much as possible, in my opinion.
I got it. You know, there's another, speaking of black hat folks, there's another story that caught my attention this week. It says the FTC announces a crackdown on deceptive AI claims. And I'm wondering, this was in Marketing Brew. And basically people are using AI to oversell, over market items. And I'm thinking that might hit the world of e-commerce, over promise and under deliver. And that's been an issue.
Whenever I've used AI, it can, and I've started using it for videos. And it's like, I'll give it an article and I'll say, hey, write me a description. AI tends to like hype it up in a way that it's like trying to sell what the video is about. This is a news piece, but it's almost as if it's trying to sell a product. You know, I'm talking about Wix and, you know, their new AI service that will help give you suggestions. And instead of it doing something that's like, oh yeah, Wix just came out with this and we're going to talk about it. It's like, go over to Wix and try this really awesome product. It's going to blow your mind. I'm like, okay, tone it down a little, AI.
But isn't that it's kind of the role is to get people's attention and to write. I mean, let's face it. I am on YouTube all the time, and a lot of the, you know, you get your homepage and you get your recommended videos, and why are half of them the title there's all caps or pictures, somebody's funny face picture, or words like this is going to destroy, you know, so and so, or oh, this is the best thing. Everything is over exaggerated, you know, over capitalized, crazy pictures to try to get your attention. That's just like the world we live in right now. And AI is, if it learns from all the stuff that we've done, then it's learning to be just like that. I mean, I hate those. I really hate those titles. I use Opus AI. I hardly ever use the actual title it creates, because
It's called a hook.
Yeah, it needs a hook. Give it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's part of the practice of video marketing is you got to open with a hook. 10 things that are going to kill you if you don't do tomorrow. You know,
Yeah.
that's the hook.
Posts
That's
that
going
are
to keep people engaged.
List of posts that are a list of that kind of stuff. That's what kills me. I mean, I really.
We all hate it. We all hate it, and it works.
But we click on it. We stop scrolling on it, and that's what it does. And then, like you're saying, you know, it's using its best practices based on all of the data, and that's why it's overhyping the sales part.
I hate that hype.
You know, when you do that, Leland, it's like that's the best practice for a YouTube video.
Does it work? I mean, it doesn't work.
It has to, or it wouldn't be doing it. It has to, or they wouldn't be doing it.
Well, the FTC is getting involved, is all I'm saying.
Good Lord.
They're not, they're going to crack down. They're going to make, you know.
Blah.
Is it just me, though? When
it's a whack-a-mole game.
When I see this overhyped stuff, I go the exact opposite way. But you're saying this stuff actually works.
I'm saying that if it didn't work, people wouldn't do it. I'm not saying that it, you know, it's obviously working, or people wouldn't do it.
And it's the same for it's the same phenomenon that you get in self-checkout. Anecdotally, people hate self-checkout. They don't like to do it. They want to have a human being, blah, blah, blah. And every time they test it, if you just like were to do a search on the research and what statistics show, it wins.
Yeah.
It wins against who? It doesn't win against me. I can get the hell out of a store as quick as anybody.
I was looking for data because I hated it and I can't stand it and it makes me angry and all the things. And maybe that's just saying I'm an old fogey because like all or like they're flooding the respondents with I don't know, Gen Zs or something, because those people are like loving it, right?
let me ask you.
Well,
Let me ask
who's
each of
taking
you
the
though.
survey?
Yeah, let me ask you each of you. If you go to the market and let's say there's nobody in the market, you got the market to your damn self, basically, and there's a self checkout and there's a cashier, or are they still called cat?
Yeah, they're cashiers.
All right, they're cashier. Which line do you go to?
Depends on how much
Self-checkout.
stuff I got.
Depends on who the cashier is. Depends on what's in my cart. If I've got alcohol in the cart. If I've
all
got
right, I'm just saying 5
things.
run-of-the-mill items. You don't. It's not anything where you need to show your ID or anything. You're trying to get in and get out. That's it. You got 5. You need 5 items. And you want to get in. And you want to get out.
Self
Do you
checkout.
go self checkout or cashier? John goes the self checkout. What about you?
Yeah, if it's basic, I self checkout. Like it's got to be basic though.
Leland?
Yeah, self checkout, unless it's like I'm passing by, like I've got to go through the cashiers in order to get to the self checkout. I've done that before. I've like walked down and I've seen an open cashier and I'm like, okay.
Look, I'll look her dead in the eye or him dead in the eye and go right to the self checkout. I'm sorry. They could be looking like they want something to do and all that, but look, I just want to get in and get out.
If I see if I see an open person, I will absolutely go. Right. But the issue is like as soon as it gets complicated, you have something that needs weighed, you have something that needs an ID, you got lots of things.
That's your phrase for this week, isn't it? Lots of things. You
Lots
said that
of
a couple of times.
Did I?
I like it though. I think we're all kind of in agreement here. If we want the least friction available, we're not going to the human. We're going right to self checkout.
It's faster.
That's my whole thing.
Well, you trained now. You trained now. I wasn't trained before. It was not fast.
Okay. In the early days when they had weights and you had to make sure that you scanned something, put it in there, wait, and then it goes, oh, wait, something's wrong.
Yeah. You didn't put it on
Get the guy over there. I was frustrated. I hated it. Yeah, I did want to, but now they've removed those weight sensors, and I just go boop, boop. It's fine. It's okay. I love it.
So let me ask you guys another question. I think we're on a roll here. This is kind of interesting to me. I don't know if it's interesting to you at all, but it's interesting to me. All right, so we're all come from the small business side of the house, and a lot of the stores that we used to go to, I don't know, still go to, we still walk in. Did you actually have even if it was like just for the going into the store once a week or twice a week, the relationship you had with the folks there? Did you have any kind of relationship? All right. So are we losing out on that if we offer the frictionless self-checkout?
That's more of a big box thing. I mean, I would be very interested in seeing how a small business kind of went down the route of a self-checkout. But like the local market that I have, it still has cashiers. It doesn't have a self-checkout. It's ran by a small business owner, and she's owned it ever since I've known her, ever since I've lived in the town. So forever and ever, really. But I still go in there. I still talk with her. I still say hi. But that's when I go in there. And if I do my main grocery run, I go to Walmart, Safeway, because it's a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, it's funny because I was just in New York, and that's where I was born and where I grew up back in the day. And it's so different now, but there's certain parts of that the local bodega that's nearby that you walk to, you still kind of have that in your neighborhood, and where I live here in Atlanta, that's not even a thing anymore, to have that relationship where you had the butcher, you had the bakery, you had the convenience store, then you had the local grocer. You don't have that in our neighborhoods like we used to have. Although I do seem like it feels like it's trying to come back in some of these little urban areas that they're building now, where they're having these walking areas where they have small businesses, and you can start knowing your, vendors a little bit more. But I think we lost that, like you said, with the big box store, uh, 70s and 80s.
Not in my little Medina. We haven't. Like I said, it's like 1955 in all the best ways. In all the best ways. You can go into whether it's the pub, whether it's the local little grocery store, whether you're like running through the drive-through to grab milk because you forgot. Even in our, let's say, Giant Eagle store, you see people. Now, there used to be a little family-run grocery store. Those people knew who everybody was. The old guys would come for their donuts and coffee and things like that. We still have a level of that, the whatever you would call it, like ties, loose ties, strong ties in the community with people who are maybe just a part of your community. They recognize you, they know your order, they know what you like to drink. You pull in, that they know you're getting a Snapple or like whatever it is that you get. So that is still happening here, although obviously not so much at the Target, not so much at the Walmart, but definitely at the small business level.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, like in New York, there's no Walmart. You probably have to take a trip to go to a Walmart. We were out in Queens, and I mean, it's still that neighborhood kind of vibe, but I don't get that in like an Atlanta area. It's not like that at all. It's weird.
All right, I'm stacking things on top of each other here because I kind of like my anonymity. I don't like going in the store where they know what you want. Like they know exactly when you're gonna come to the store to get this and the amount. I don't necessarily like that. I know, that comes with the familiarity and building a relationship. But am I the only one that's like, hey, I don't need everybody knowing everything I get and when I get it?
Me. Amazon knows everything about it.
But I'm not. But I'm not.
Give me a break.
I'm not walking into the store and seeing Jeff Bezos' eyes peering into my soul, saying, "Oh, we know why you're here." There's something different about that level of familiarity versus the familiarity that Amazon has.
Well, you could just go. You can just go somewhere else. I think that's the beauty. It sounds like that's what's missing a little bit in John's neighborhood. Right. Where I am, you can do either one, right? You can go to like the local, we call them the coffee ladies. There's a real business name. You can go there and get coffee. We have got multiple places to get fresh, homemade, home ground or home roasted, whatever coffee. You can do that. But if you don't want them to know what kind you like or whatever that your situation is, Brent, just there's a Target half a block down the road, get whatever you want, then they can predict, whether you're sick or you got the flu based on which coffee you're buying or tea.
I don't want to be predictable. You know what I do? I can't be the only one that does this. There's like 2 or 3 Publixes within, I don't know, like a 5-mile radius of me. I will go to one on one day and get certain stuff. And then I'll go to another one because I don't want the folks over here knowing that I get all the stuff.
Do you pay in cash?
I'm not paying cash, but those people working in the store, they don't care about me enough if I go here one day and then go somewhere else another day. I don't want to be Mr. Like when Norm would walk in the Cheers. Hey, it's Brent, and you can't do anything.
They just say it on the inside, Brent. They're like, there's that Brent Leary coming in here.
Keep it on the inside. That's fine. I'm good. Man. Keep it on the inside. I don't want to look at your face and say, oh, yeah, here he comes again. There's something about that I don't want that. And I want to be able to control that. But I also would like a friendly experience. I don't know. Is it me? Is it just because I have these weird thoughts? But it feels a little. There's some there's some positivity in that, and then there's some, man, I don't want everybody to know my business in that either.
It's not just you. I mean, I live in a small town. The town that I'm actually in is 2,000 people. The town next over that we usually do all our shopping, 20,000 people. So it's really small. We don't have a lot of options. And so one of my wife's favorite food is Thai food. And we go to the same Thai place all the time and order the same thing. And they know my number. And so I order it up and they're like, oh, hey, you want the usual?
As soon as you pick up. Yeah.
Yep. I want the usual. And my wife is mortified. And I'm like, this is convenient.
Yeah, I love
it.
I think me and your wife have a lot in common because I'll go to multiple Chipotles because I don't want them thinking I go there X amount of times a week. So I'll only go to this one like once. I'll go to this one like maybe on a Friday, because I don't want them to know, oh, he's going there.
I think
like
that's
every
your
day.
insecurities, dude.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying that it is what it is.
But I think everybody has, there's people like you, and there's people like,
How do small business retailers deal with people like me and people like you guys? Like, we're different. We're all different. We want different things. How does a small business retailer, either online or offline, but I'm particularly, I guess, saying offline, how do they build the kind of relationship they need to grow their business with folks that have such different personality traits, that one works one way and the other works another way, but as a business person, you want to make both of them your customers?
I would imagine that they would pick and they would adjust themselves based off of the body language of the customer. If you're like, oh yeah, hey, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a while, and it kind of freaks them out, because it's Brent. Then they might go, oh, okay, this person's probably not the kind of person that I want to actually sit there and engage into a familiarity kind of conversation. So I'll back off of maybe a little bit.
I think, yeah.
Go for it.
Sorry. No, I was like, I think, you don't have to be everything to everybody. And I think that, you set up your business the way you want to set up the business to attract the kind of customers that you want to serve. So you don't have to be everything to everybody. There's enough room and enough customers and enough people in the world to be able to tailor your experience to those kind of customers you're trying to attract, because those are the ones that are going to stick and stay.
It's all about, see, that's the beauty. And I think, in our little town where the business owner is often at the location multiple times at different times of the day, just like what Leland was saying, they know. But, you guys know that some of the stores have also taken up things like, if you, like when you're shopping, you can take a bag that says, I'm just looking. Yeah, or like, exactly. They have different indicators of how you want to be. Like, do you want to be left alone? Do you want to be engaged with? Whatever. Like, I love this. I go to the I have a really bad soap addiction to that beautiful smelly soap. What's it called? Bath and Body or whatever.
Bath and Body Works.
Yes, they smell so good, right? I walk into that store. She's like, "Hi, what brought you in today?" And I'm like, soap?
It's a soap store. What do you think I'm interested in, lady?
But I think that there's all kinds of different mechanisms, and people, it's the one-on-one service, those ties that I think do matter. It's what differentiates a small business. I think, Brent, your thing is perfect. That's what differentiates a small business from a big box store. Right? A small business owner, we just lost our local hardware store where I swear to God, you could walk in there and say, I have this, I have that, blah, blah, blah. The screw kind of looks like this. He's like, I got you. I mean, they knew their product. They knew their service. And I think That's what a small business has to offer. So if you want relationship, you're probably going to want to go to that small business where they have that level of expertise, whether it's a hardware store, or floors, or paint, or whatever. If you don't, go to Walmart. I mean,
Okay, so now I get to tie this to the theme I have a couple of slides for. Because I hope you guys didn't see this, because I want to see if you guys know the answer to this. So a company, I better not tell you the company, because knowing you guys, you might look at it and try to find it before I give you the question. Yeah, I see you, Cold Rice. So recently a company came out with an estimate for how much money will be spent online in the US during the holiday season. Anybody take a guess? In the holiday season, they have from November 1st to December 31st, I think is like it is. Online, only in the US. Anybody have a guess as to how much?
$100 billion.
What are you, Dr.
You said
Evil all of a
100?
sudden?
I was thinking 500. I was thinking 500 billion. I was even playing with the T number.
Whoa, really? This is just, wait, it's just
3
US.
months?
It's just
But
US,
I
not
just
worldwide.
Oh, just the US?
Just
Yeah,
the
I'm
US.
gonna go with like 500
Okay, 500 billion.
I saw it
billion.
before, so I'm not gonna.
I know.
No, you
Yeah.
did.
All right. So did you take a guess?
I said 100.
Okay.
He said 100, I said 5.
Wow, that's kind of interesting, because it's almost sort of like in the middle, but not quite. 240.8 billion
Okay.
spent online in the US between and this is their estimate, and this is Adobe, so legit. Now here's the question. I don't maybe Leland, maybe you do have this. All right, since we just talked about how it's kind of really important to try to figure out a real relationship with the customer in local, that's one of the really benefits that a small business does have, the more kind of a closeness to their customer base. But if 240.8 billion is going to be spent online between November and December, how much of that is going to go through a mobile device?
Oh, 60%.
Okay.
Just Amazon app up it, or the Walmart app, or
just anything mobile.
It's going to be a lot of the sales, I would imagine. The big.
I think I love John's number, but I don't want to give John's number. I'm gonna say, I don't know, 55. I don't know.
What is this?
But I think John's
right.
What's the price is right?
All right. Well,
59 and a half.
Actually, even you are actually closer. The number is 128 billion, which is, I think, 53%. So if 53% of 240 billion is going through a mobile device, how does a small business stand a chance?
I mean, you act like small business isn't mobile.
Yeah, but
are you saying mom and pop's stores?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we just talked about their biggest. I think the biggest positive or competitive balance or whatever that a small business has with a bigger business is the opportunity to get closer to a potential customer or a customer.
I think there are two different segments. They're all they are purchasing retail, blah blah blah, right? But look at it this way: there is the Amazon purchase of a gift, which let me just call that generic for lack of better distinctions, right? The point I'm trying to make is I think purchasing holiday items, presents from a small business is first and foremost entertainment, right? People are like, they want to purchase from a small business. It means something that it's purchased from a small business. The only other thing that falls into this category that has that same special feeling is perhaps something you buy on Etsy. It's, when you're purchasing gifts, especially for people who have everything, you are looking for an experience. versus something utilitarian. Maybe utilitarian is a better word rather than generic. So I'm thinking, there are utilitarian gifts and then there are special gifts. And when you buy it, like we have a local place where there's an alpaca farm. One year I went and got like alpaca socks and scarves and whatever. Like, people made that.
Wait a minute. Did you say you
customized.
got a pack of socks?
Alpaca.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
awesome.
It was a joke.
They're lovely.
So
I
good.
think only Leland was the only one that got it, but it's okay.
Yeah, but
They're
I mean,
lovely.
I think there's some misnomer.
You see what I'm
here.
saying, though?
I do, but I still like my joke that you guys just completely just overlooked.
Blew off.
I know.
But there's a misnomer here I've been in business for 20 years. I've only been a small business and I've only done it online. And I mean, as the number of e-commerce spend grows online, that also is growing small businesses. A lot of these businesses that are going to get that 53% of spend are small businesses. That's not all going to Amazon.
So let me ask you this one. This is great because another tack onto this is Amazon Prime Day is coming up even before we get to the November shopping season stuff. But do you feel like you have an actual relationship with your customers when you sell through Amazon?
No. Do I feel that way? No. Do they feel that way? I don't know.
John, isn't there a thing I thought I saw, or there's definitely a category for buy from a small business or something? Because I know this experience blew me away. I wanted some oven mitts, right? And I wanted silicone oven mitts, which you could buy anywhere, but I happen to be scrolling on Amazon. I make the selection buy from a small business, I think. I find these super cute. I buy them. The package shows up just like any other Amazon package, 2 days later or something. I open it up and it is the total small business experience. Inside are my gloves, but there's like a little card. Thank you for buying our stuff. This is who we are. We make this, we make that, blah, blah, blah. I had such a good little feeling that I did feel special. I did.
Awesome.
I was like, look at this little thing. These are like silicone gloves. I could have bought that over at Target. I'm so glad I purchased, but I think you have to select from a sort. You know what I'm saying, John? Like, isn't there a thing?
I mean, there are little badges that they have on the Amazon businesses. They will tell you whether it's a small business, whether it's a minority-owned business, all of those kinds of things. They actually have little badges like that. You can sort on that. I'm not sure how prevalent that sort is sometimes, but absolutely. I mean, Amazon is full of small business owners. More than 50% of everything that's purchased on Amazon is purchased from a small business owner. So it's a misnomer when we say, big box retailer. Even when we deal with big box retailer, a lot of that stuff on their shelves from Target, from Walmart, also are, small business owners that stock those shelves too. There's small business everywhere. We're the backbone of America.
Yeah, that's true. But going back to the question, because to me, you really still don't have a direct relationship with your customer, which is just so strange when you think about it. You could sell 80 or 90% of your business might come through like like the Amazon marketplace, and you could get probably a lot of reorders from somebody, the same person, and you still don't really have a relationship with them. It's like the oddest thing.
But they have a relationship with
the brand.
you.
Right. They have a relationship with the brand.
But don't you want to? Well, I guess that's
no. We
good.
want to be like
could.
you, Brand. We want to be like you, Brand. We
Well,
want
nobody
nobody
ever wants to be like me.
I don't want to be. I don't want.
Nobody ever wants to be like me. I'm just kind of saying it. No, I'm just saying it's such a strange dynamic.
Yeah.
Where I mean, it is all in the customer's hands, right? But on the flip side, Amazon doesn't allow that all to be in the customer's hands because they want it in their hands as much as possible. So we're a business, a small business. We almost have to give it, let the customer run the show because the customer has found Amazon and Amazon is conduit. But yet and still, wouldn't it be nice as the business person to have some kind of a direct relationship where you might want to reach out and say, hey, you.
Well, that's what I think. That's what I think this brand did with these oven mitts, right? I found them through this quote unquote syndicated marketplace. I would have never found them any other way. They created a personal experience. This I'm telling you, this package came as if I had bought it in real life. Yes, it was in a box, but there was like tissue. There was a card. If I had wanted to engage with them, they gave me the opportunity to engage with them if I wanted to. I could have gone on their website. I could have gotten their newsletter, like whatever their little, lead capture was.
Let me ask you this. So let's say Christmas time's coming up. You want to get a pair of gloves for one of your friends. Are you going back to Amazon or are you going to go look for that site?
I'm going to go back to Amazon, look at my past orders and find them.
Exactly.
Wow.
See, that's a good point. See, so she's
Right?
still Amazon's customer.
You're hooked.
Yeah.
You're hooked. We're hooked. We're all hooked.
But
I would like to go back to that site, but that's the thing with a lot of these services, a lot of these platforms, these syndicated platforms, is who's going to remember.
Right.
Yeah. Who is going to remember when Amazon is keeping an inventory track of every single one of my purchases?
Ooh, that's good.
That's the
How
goal.
many of us
That's
have gone
good.
in and said, oh, I like that. Where did I get that? I think I got that on Amazon. What does that do? It makes me say, I'm going to buy from Amazon again so that I can have this tracking.
In other words, the relationship is completely transactional when the company has all the data and knows how to use it.
Well, I mean, Amazon adds value. Amazon does add value.
I'm not saying it doesn't, but like even it just said, the value is Amazon has the data, and now they have the analytics, and now they know how to use it, and that's how they kind of build a.
But they don't have my heart, Brent. But they don't have my heart.
Yeah, they do.
You know what?
I am reluctant.
Really?
I am reluctant. Which is
really
why
have to touch your heart.
I love it. I love it. This is so hilarious.
I don't think it has to touch your heart because I'm thinking, I buy a lot of stuff from this company, Fanatics. I mean, all my Rams gear I get from this company, Fanatics. I don't know a damn person over there, but they keep feeding me discounts and bringing me new merchandise to look and like, oh, this is great. And then I just go ahead and buy it. I know nothing about them. I don't know anybody over there. All I know is I'm getting 30% off of this new piece of Rams.
And you trust the quality, right? But you trust the quality of the product.
I trust the quality because I bought a lot of stuff from them over the years. Absolutely.
It's kind of more clinical.
Say that again, Leland.
I was going to say it's a little more clinical. It's a little more sterile, and you got a lot of layers between you and an actual real person. And the more layers there are, the less of a relationship there is going to ever be, because you've got to pass through those layers in order to be, and especially with companies nowadays, where they're like hiding their telephone number, making it very difficult for you to actually call and talk to someone. But that's just kind of the nature, especially with the bigger it is. And if you're going to be a small business and you're going to work with an Amazon or Etsy or eBay or something like that, then you got to find other ways to kind of circumvent that to be able to get to your customers and be able to form, relationships with them. Because even though the one that you had was kind of still just a one-way relationship, you saw them as something great, but they didn't really know you personally. I've seen a lot of, you get a lot of those small crafting people who are like, oh, I just made this really awesome thing and I'm going to ship it out to so-and-so. And this person, they said that they're going to give it for a gift. And that's a good way to do it, even though it's online. And even though there's you're using social media as a means to kind of like bridge that gap a little bit. And get around that. But just when you're online, you got a lot of layers, and that makes it difficult to form
Are
relationships.
we making an assumption? Are we making the assumption that because a transaction happens online, there can't be a relationship?
There's a relationship, all right. It's a transactional relationship.
Okay, well, let's say, I mean, do you think, I mean, a lot of us have primarily known each other online for years and years and years.
I don't know you.
Are you? Are we saying that? All I'm saying is people are building. This is how we build relationships right
Yes.
now. Is it authentic? Is it real? You know, I can definitely say that I have relationships with people online that I've never met, but definitely meeting them
Solidified.
improves that relationship.
Yeah, it takes it to another
Sometimes it
level.
doesn't improve it. It makes it worse, but sometimes.
All right, so this is all great, but you know what? It's gonna be, I think Leland was talking about layers. There's gonna be some more additional layers because we haven't even talked about what's about to happen, which is these companies like Amazon introducing agents, AI agents into the equation, in which you want to get even further away from a human being. Those things are gonna make, because they actually have, they're able to reason and have some logic and have autonomy to make decisions on their own. So eventually we're going to get even further away from a human because those things are going to actually end up running the show, and they're going to actually kind of act like a human and to a certain extent think like a human and have the autonomy to make decisions like a human, but it ain't no human.
Great. Fantastic.
I
Can't
think
wait.
Wait till you get
pretty
into
great.
the loop. Wait till you get into the Amazon customer support loop like I was in about a
I've been
month
there.
ago.
Been
Oh
there,
my
done
God.
It's not a
So-
good place to be.
that. Been there,
I
done
saw this video, and I wish I had it. I wish I knew we were going to talk about it, but it's hilarious. And it's McDonald's and these fast food companies are coming out with like AI helpers. You talk to the AI and it'll take your order. And this guy, he hates them. And so he goes up and he says, I want 1,000 cups of water. And it immediately took him right to a person.
Hey, it was smart enough to do that. But I think we're actually getting further and further away from humans being involved in any of this stuff we just talked about. I don't think we're getting closer. But does that kind of flip back around and give even a more significant advantage to small businesses who are able to figure out a way to be more human and build a human relationship, even though they aren't going to be able to scale it?
I think the point will be to not scale it. I heard a report. This, I swear to God, was like 15 years ago, possibly. This is how long ago this was. And the whole conversation was the one we were just having, is purchasing transactional. And what this particular author was saying was that there's a difference between purchasing and shopping. So he was talking about certain things, like I was saying earlier, moving into the realm of entertainment. So a retail store being more of a place of entertainment where you're touching, where you're engaging with things, you're talking to people, blah, blah, blah. It's a customized experience. So, you know, the in real life experience is more experiential in the same way that going to see a Broadway show is experiential versus watching a movie or watching it on TV. Those might be more transactional. So looking at shopping versus purchasing. So really, really making discernments between things that we never used to do.
What was that term? Was it showrooming? Where people would go into a showroom and do all that stuff and then leave and then buy it online or something like that?
That is a thing. And actually that is something that's really hurting a lot of small businesses. Like if you're we have a local specialty athletic shoe store where you go in, they're going to measure your foot. What sport are you doing? Where are you hiking? I mean, you know, they are parsing this thing down to get you the perfect performance clothing. People come in, they go through that entire human intensive consulting process, and then they go to Amazon and buy the thing.
Well, see, you know what? If I was that shop, I would have Amazon's price right there for
Right
them.
there.
Why
Exactly.
don't that's what's that
Mm.
insurance company that says we'll
Oh,
show you the
Progressive.
quotes. Right.
Right.
Progressive will
Oh,
show you
yeah.
all the quotes and then let you make the determination and decision.
Or
If
they
you-
can also you could also buy it, like they could have a thing off of Amazon and they could have a QR code and say buy it here, right? But look,
Yeah.
just imagine how that would change the whole experience.
Yeah. Or I could price match it to that. I mean, there's a lot of ways to get that. It's like once you got the customer in your store, how do we keep them and create the sale there versus letting them? Because like you said, showrooming, what was that? Maybe 4 years ago, that was the phrase. You know, I don't hear it that much anymore.
I don't hear it
I'm
at
sure-
all. Yeah.
Right. I'm sure people are like, well, you know what? I don't even need to go. I will just, what did Amazon do? Amazon's like, look, we'll ship it to you. If you don't like it, ship it back. So that got people to stop even going to the showroom. So it's crazy out in these streets, man.
Wow.
I get nervous just like going out and buying something, like, you know, I want to buy a camera or a laptop, and it's just like I start, you know, I'm at Best Buy and I'm like, what are the ratings? That's like that's the thing going through my head.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
don't have
is this
that.
actually a good thing to buy?
You
I
don't
could go
see
to
the
Amazon
stars.
and I can look at the result. You know, it's like, oh, it's 4.5
That's
stars. I can go
great.
down to the reviews. Oh, it has really terrible hinges. I may not want that because I'm always constantly.
And even before that, or somewhere in that loop, I go to YouTube because you can now go
Watch
and
the
see
video.
reviews about for like 1,000
Mhm.
reviews on anything out there.
So how can you duplicate that experience in store?
You make your own videos. You gotta have your YouTube channel where you're talking about this stuff so they find you and then they're like, oh, that's the guy. I want to go to his store. And that way there's an actual relationship there, right? Even if it's formed virtually online, people see that video and like, oh, I like what she's saying. Oh, she's really breaking it down. Oh, she has a store. Oh, well,
Well,
I'm
isn't
gonna
that
go
what
here.
TikTok is doing? But I don't ever liked. I don't. You know. You know what I do? I see the thing on TikTok. I go search for it on Amazon because
Oh, okay. So you're showrooming on TikTok.
Your virtual showroom.
Yeah, gotcha. That's crazy.
Because I don't like that entire. And you know what's fascinating? That how that TikTok shop looks. What that shopping experience, just like seeing it, looks so Chinesey and scary. That I don't want to order anything from it. It's scary. Those are the words I would use. Scary. Like, will it show up?
Wow.
In what state?
That's more of a Temu question. But
Hey man,
Yeah.
I like Temu. I don't know why it gets such a bad rap.
I saw a video and it was a Temu bread lamp, and the woman had it sitting out and ants started crawling all over it. And she's like, is this actually bread?
Oh my
And
God.
she breaks it apart, and lo and behold, it's just bread covered in resin with a light stuck into it.
What the hell? First of all, who would buy a bread lamp? Is that
Why
a
do
thing?
you want a
I've
bread
never heard
lamp?
of a bread lamp before.
It's just a lamp in the shape of a croissant.
Loaf of bread.
Loaf of
Yeah, but
bread.
it's not supposed to be an actual loaf of bread, is it?
No, it's
Oh
not.
my
It's supposed to be
Well, she
like
won
plastic
London.
molded.
In China, it is, sir.
It's a wonder it didn't get moldy like in this little 6-week trip.
Oh my God.
Well, I think
You know,
that's what the resin is for. It's supposed to stop the oxygen.
can we
You know,
pull
we
back
haven't
from the
talked
bread
about
lamp?
this. We have not talked about this, guys, and this is like serious stuff. Isn't
Wait,
there going
hold
to
on,
be like
hold
a
on. I need the link. I need the link. Go
Okay,
ahead.
I will get you the link.
guys? Isn't there going to be a port strike, like
Oh.
longshoremen strike? So products coming in, especially on the East Coast and possibly on the West Coast. I've heard chatter. I don't know if you've heard that.
Oh gosh, I got to look it up.
That would
I
make
haven't
sense.
heard
They
it
always
yet.
do that around, the
time.
holiday seasons.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. It's been on. I heard about it, then I didn't hear about it, and I didn't know if you guys had heard about it.
That's a leverage time.
Yeah, I haven't heard it,
So,
but I'm not surprised if it happens.
maybe next week. Well, next week I'm traveling. I will not be here next week.
Oh, we're gonna miss you.
You know what we talk about at home? Tier buckets. I want to see big tier buckets filled.
Send me a bread lamp and you'll see some tier buckets. I'll tell you that much.
We need the bread lamp.
Anyway, this is a nice segue to end the show. So since Ivana is not going to be with us next week, we'll give you the first parting shot.
Parting shot.
Well, something nice.
Yeah,
nice.
parting thoughts. Maybe my parting thought is, as we are getting into, because October is coming, we are getting into market planning and business planning season. Now is the time to sort of think about these things that we've been talking about. How are they affecting your business? How are they going to affect your business? I love our conversation about shopping experiences and relationships. So these are all things that you could look at. How are you going to implement one thing to build a closer relationship with your customer?
Nice. Mr. Leland.
This is your friendly reminder that Halloween is just a month away. So start putting up your Halloween decorations.
Oh my God.
Are you that house on the block that goes all out for Halloween? Is that?
I had this, it's destroyed now, but I had this nice sea serpent dragon inflatable that I was given, and I've toned it down over the years, but I had that for a couple of years. It was nice.
Nice. You could put that right next to the bread lamp. See how that goes. All right, the cold one, the bold one, John Cold Rice Lawson.
I don't know, man. I mean, if you haven't started already, let's get on this Black Friday offer. What are you going to do for Black Friday? Let's think about it now. Don't wait till 2 weeks before and then be like, oh, let's do something. We got to do something for Black Friday. Let's have a planned, session so that we can put together what our Black Friday offer is going to be and take advantage of that $58 billion, whatever. $250 million, that $1 trillion that's going to be spent in the next couple of months.
You can do Cyber Monday deals too, right?
Cyber Monday too. Yes, sir.
Small Business Saturday.
Small Business Saturday.
There's always a day. There's a theme that we can
There is, and Green Monday after that. It's a whole lot going on.
And you can look up the calendar. There is a crazy holiday calendar. Just search it up on Google, and you can practice with little fun offers, like it's Gummy Bear Day or like whatever. I don't know what it is this week, but
hey John, what was it? Miss Peggy that used to create her own holiday. Remember, she used to.
It sure did.
She created her own holidays.
Created her own holidays just to have marketing.
Yeah, where you could buy widgets from her. Anyway,
Yeah.
All right. My parting thought is join us at 5:00. Me and the cold one and the bold one, where I get to stop being a nice guy and yell at him, which is what I do best. Anyway.
He's already doing that.
We will see you. Well, some of us will see you next week. And until then, have a great weekend and stay out of the wet weather. Jeez.